Hello, this is Bridget Raw with Divine Essentials. Okay guys, so we're moving on with Alcyone Light Healing today or tonight or whatever time it is wherever you are. We're moving on to level 3, week 15. So if you're somebody that's new, that's just clicked onto this, you don't know what Alcyone Light Healing is, you can go back to like my home page of the channel, and there is a playlist that has all of the videos that you can watch to do with Alcyone Light Healing, or you can choose to just watch this video and just participate in this part of the series, which there's going to be an activation that I share right after this, and then there's going to be a meditation tomorrow to help you to remember your soul's teachings. And tonight's activation will be to go up to the Akashic Records, or the Galactic Akashic Records. It's an activation though, so those are paid, and they've been ranging around $8 through Venmo, and there'll be a link in the description box of the next video that I post that tells a little bit about the activation, and then you can participate in that if you choose to, or you can just wait and listen to the free meditation tomorrow. If you want to do all of Alcyone Light Healing, it's basically a modality to help you to change your life, to manifest, to heal, to grow, to connect in all different ways. And you can scan through and see like the different titles of the videos and what we've been talking about and what we've been doing to help you to decide. But tonight we're talking about the Galactic Akashic Records. Last week we talked a little bit about, you know, the earthly Akashic Records, and I consider them to be different because I've experienced them in different ways. So the earth, you know, there's like, for me, because it's going to be different for you, I find that a lot of us connect to these things in our own ways, or we see things in our own ways. So what I experience may not be exactly what you experience, and that doesn't take away from your experience at all. That just means that me and you are a little bit different, or we're seeing it in a different frequency, or it's something that you're going to access in levels, or that you're going to access in your own version of reality, where it's like maybe you only get to connect to the Akashic Records on the earth. Maybe you only get to connect to the galactic ones. Maybe you are going to do it through automatic writing, or maybe you're going to do it through meditation. Maybe you're going to do it through a guided meditation or the activation, or maybe you're going to do it, you know, with a pendulum. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique with the way that they receive energy and frequency. So don't hold on to one set thing in your mind and limit yourself by believing like the only way I'm going to access it is if I do exactly what Bridget said to do, and blah 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 blah, because that's just going to limit you, and that's going to keep you from, you know, doing what you want to do. So for me, the earth, you know, when I've connected with the earthly ones, I've seen like a library, I've seen a book. You know, some people call it the book of life because they see the book. Some people see like the big library full of books. Some people see, you know, like a scroll, and the scroll opens up and it's a big long scroll full of information. Everybody sees it in their own way. So that's usually how I've perceived the earthly ones. Now the galactic ones, I've only perceived it in one way, and I've actually heard of other people receiving it in a similar way, so it kind of confirmed to me that I wasn't crazy and that I was connecting with something that does exist, because I was like, maybe I just made that up or whatever. And I honestly, like, I don't even remember exactly how I got there or what I was doing when I got there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I was doing a guided meditation like in bed one night, or if I was guiding people on a guided activation or a meditation at an event. I don't remember exactly. I think it was an event, but it's foggy to me. All I know is what I saw. You know, the rest of the details, I'm kind of like, when was that? So basically, what I do, like in my activations, is a lot of times I bring people up to, you know, different places. Like we'll go to Sirius, or we'll go to the Pleiades, or we go to Lyra, and we, you know, connect and receive something specific, or we heal a particular part of the body, or we do a chakra cleanse, or we do, you know, a past life guided activation, or we do a soul cleanse, or whatever. And when I do those, sometimes I access other places, or I see things that I don't necessarily know that I'm going to be seeing until I get there. And I believe that this is one of those times that it was like, I kind of just stumbled into this. Now, what I saw was a big, huge, it was like basically like being on a ship, okay, like if you're on a spaceship, and it was a big, huge room, and it had like a dome, basically, like you could stand in this big round room, basically, and part of it, or like the whole side of it, one side of it was all glass. And you could see like the stars, you could see outside into the dark, you know, universe. And then the rest of it is kind of like a blur. It was like, I think there was like metal rooms or something. It was just very plain over here. Then in the center of this room is this big, huge round table. And other people have talked about the round table, so I know that that part is something other people have seen. And then in the center of this round table, what I saw, which is a little bit different from what other people have seen, and I think some people may perceive that big glass wall that you can see out to the universe as like a TV. Okay, so some of you may see like a big, huge TV where, or like a computer, and basically it turns into a screen rather than being just glass that you can see out into the universe. And that screen will play to you what you want it to play. For me, however, in the middle of that table, which other people have seen this table, have seen it with like the Masters of Light at it, the table is where I was at. And there was a big, huge, round pillar of light in the center of the table. And it was like huge, like I couldn't wrap my arms around it, huge. Now, what I was guided to do was to put my hand into the pillar of light, and this pillar of light is all I can really give to you for words, which doesn't even feel right. It was huge, and inside of it is like, if you think of like the Matrix movie with like the like coatings and things like that, but molecule is what's inside of it, and it's like this big, huge, glowy thing, and when you put your hand in, you can access whatever piece of information that you want to access. And it's not just the earth, okay? Because like the Earth Akashic records are for all the people on Earth, all the souls that have ever lived on Earth, all the people that are living there now, the future timelines, the past timelines. So it's a huge place. It's a lot of information. However, the galactic one is bigger. It's like all of the races. It's all of the timelines. It's all of the versions of reality that are existing and coexisting, are gonna exist, could possibly exist, might maybe exist, and have already existed. And it's that information taken, and like your lifetime is like, think about how we've advanced in technology. You know, how you have a cell phone, right? When we first got cell phones, they were these big monsters, and over time they've gotten smaller, or, you know, they've changed, and the way that they program them has gotten smaller, and the pieces that are inside of them that hold more information are smaller. You know, we used to have floppy disks to hold the information, those big square things, and you'd save probably a couple things on it and it was full. Now we have just like infinite space available to us to download to the cloud. I don't even understand what the cloud is, but it's there, and your information's in it. Anything you put out there is basically like, and it's like retrievable. So if you think about it, we've been creating an Akashic Records for Earth in our own way too. But that's kind of what the Galactic Akashic Records are like. It's like a big, huge pillar of light that has all that information inside it, but the information pieces are very tiny, and when you put your hand in there, which I'm not sure if everybody's allowed to do, because I feel like many people who go up there, you may see the screen play to you things, or you may go to that pillar of light, put your hand in, and, you know, get the information and just like see it, or just, you know, like that's the noise. It's gonna go, and, you know, feel it or know it or trust it or see it, hear it, taste it, smell it, whatever your gift is, however you connect to spirit. is what's going to, you know, be received in that moment when you put your hand in. And it's intelligent, okay? So it's like, think about artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence, like, you know, how we're using it in different ways. It's, this thing knows what you're trying to do, and it knows what to give to you, and it knows exactly, like, it's like you can put your hand in, and it's like, the information is just there instantly, and it goes in to you and into your DNA, into your cells, into your atoms, and you just integrate it and absorb it, and you know it. So that's the Galactic Akashic Records, and that's why I haven't really spoken about it in the other videos, or, you know, wanted to discuss it in the Q&A tonight, because it's really not huge information. Like, it's not like a you know, 40-minute video, but it's totally different from the Earth. But I find that, like, what we're doing on Earth is very much kind of like what this is, you know what I mean? If you look at how our technology is, and how we're saving all this information, and we're, you know, putting it into space, that's basically what the Galactic Akashic Records are, is information and, you know, downloads and in frequency and energy that has been condensed into little tiny things that you can program into you. And that's what we do with our computers, with our computer programs. Now, another part of this is, you know, beyond it holding all that information of all those places and all those races, like the Lyrans, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, Andromedans, the Vegans, the Avians, and whoever else it connects with. That's one thing I'm unsure of. I don't know if it does everywhere out there, because everywhere out there is expansive, it's infinite, it's like, it's crazy. So I'm not sure if it's like our galaxy, or like our area of the universe, because I know we have the Andromedan galaxy, we have the Vegans, we have the, you know, Orion, and this and that and everything. We have the information of the Galactic War, we have the information of all these things that have happened, and it's beyond our galaxy. But I don't know if it's like just a part, you know what I mean? Because we have the light councils who run, you know, certain places. So it's like the Council of Light consists of like 12 members from different places, and I feel like those Masters of Light are the ones that kind of oversee these Galactic Akashic Records, and that is basically where the information is connected to. I feel like outside of our area of this universe, there's more places like this that exist where you can access and decode and find frequency and information about their existence and their lively, you know, lifetimes, and their races and versions of people and realities and things that they've got going on. But I don't even know exactly what that would consist of or look like or be like. I just kind of intuitively feel that what's out there is beyond what we can perceive. It's beyond what we can connect with right now. And by doing the work that we're doing right now, it's setting us up to eventually be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, eventually we're going to be traveling in space. There's people right now who are inventing, you know, stuff that can take us as individuals into space, rather than, you know, having to be an astronaut and spend your entire life learning it and becoming it and doing it. There's people out there who are trying to get the technology and the resources available so that, like, hey, you want to go to Mars tomorrow instead of Florida, is a possibility. And I feel like those things will happen, maybe not in my lifetime, but eventually. And as we do these things, and as we access more information, or evolve, basically, is what we're doing, you know, we're going to evolve beyond limitations consciously as well. And we're going to expand, like, the ability or the use of our minds, you know, because we're only using a little tiny bit of our mind or our brain, and we have so much untapped inside of us that by doing these mind-expanding activations and meditations and, you know, retrieving these informations, we open ourselves up to bigger and better things that are outside of that. So, what else you can do there is you can access your oversoul programs, or your I am presences, which we've talked about with, like, the top pillar, I mean the top part of the vortex. So we have the diamonds of the vortex, we've got the one down below us which connects to the earth, and like the earth's information and things that have happened, you know, to the earth over the years. And then we have our diamond, which connects to us specifically, like our physical reality of this lifetime that we've lived. You know, like when you fell down and you broke your arm, when you know, broke up with your boyfriend, when you did whatever, that information, you know, is here with you on like a physical level. Like you have cellular memories that are there. And you know, you want to heal those cellular memories. You want to clear things that are connected there so that you're not, you know, limiting yourself or hurting your, you know, not hurting yourself, but you're not staying stuck or creating things that are uncomfortable for your physical body, your emotional body, you know, things like that. So it's your responsibility, knowing these things too, to work with them. Like when I tell you about what these diamonds are connected to, utilize that and be like, oh, all right, so if this thing knows all of that, like, and I've, you know, done things in my life that weren't good or hurt me, or, you know, I fell down and I broke my arm and I don't want to have arthritis later on, maybe I'm going to go back and rewrite that experience, or maybe I'm going to go back and I'm going to heal, you know, that connection to that thing or to that person, cut that cord, do whatever. And the more that we evolve through Alcyone light healing, the more you'll understand that concept too, of like going back and rewriting stuff. Like when we do soul retrieval, that will give you a way of understanding how to do that, and things like that. But basically, you know, start utilizing your information intuitively as well, and start working with that, you know, one-on-one by yourself, to which degree you're guided to. And as we go through these levels, you'll get better and better. But with the top diamond, you know, I've talked about how we can access our I am presences, and that it's basically housing all the information of all the lifetimes that you've lived, right? Or all the versions that you've been. So in many ways, you've already been connecting to the Akashic records, you know, for you specifically. And I took you up there specifically last week to go in and to see it and to discover it. And we, you know, went to the Akashic records of the earth, and you got to perceive it however you perceived it. If you were blocked from seeing it, there may be a reason that you cannot access it at this time, especially if you find that you've, you know, done other activations and received from them, got information, or you saw something or felt something, whatever, and then with just that one it didn't work. It may be that you're just not at the frequency yet, or there's something that they don't want you to know yet, but you'll get there, okay? Or it may be that you need to go up to the galactic place and see what they've got going on for you. So when you go up to the galactic one, you can access the oversoul programs, your I am presence. Some programs or souls have been downloaded into many people. So this is something I've seen, you know, that's like common. It's not common, but I think it's more common than a lot of people admit to, or a lot of people talk about, because it's kind of like one of those things that we feel weird about. But I think it's connected to this. So like one thing I've had happen in my experiences is I was guided to certain information about Sarah Magdalene. Sarah Magdalene is the daughter of Jesus and Mary. And she's not very talked about. Like, people are probably like, who the hell is that? And what? Because it's like, what are you talking about? Because it's not in the Bible. It's not like, you know, written widely about or talked widely about. But for whatever reason, I was very much guided to this information, very much like kept being shown to me, kept being connected to me. Even people outside of me who are mediums, or, you know, connect with the angels to deliver messages, or readers or healers or whatever, they would keep coming to me and, you know, bringing this information, and they'd be like, it was just too weird. So I feel that Sarah Magdalene, it's not that I lived a life as her, but I feel like her oversoul information, her I am presence, her program, okay, because you want to think of this as programs and computer software. This is the best way to, like, kind of understand it. That program has been downloaded into, like, my consciousness for some reason, so that I can learn certain lessons that she learned, or, you know, experience certain experiences that she's experienced, or things that she knew, basically, whatever. And even when I went, because when this information was coming to me, I had darker hair at that time, and it was right when I was starting to like really become aligned with being a healer and doing this work. It was like even the picture that I found of her and the video that was like connected to it, I think it said "I am the light" or something like that, and she's like holding a flame, but her hair and everything was very much like how I was wearing it at that time, and it was almost like looking at myself. And I know a lot of people have had that type of experience with Mary Magdalene, or you know, Mother Mary, however you perceive it or connect with it. I've met many people in the spiritual community who feel, you know, they've opened up to me and let me know that they feel like they lived a life as Mary Magdalene, or they feel like they lived a life as, you know, Mother Mary. And it's impossible for all of them to have lived that, but I don't doubt them that they have that program downloaded into their consciousness, into their energy and frequency, that there's something that they needed to learn from that, or there's something about it that they resonate with, like being that person that's been, you know, misunderstood, or being the person that was like later on, you know, able to turn things around, or just whatever they connect to within it, whatever they feel guided to for information that is like making them feel that way, I feel comes from the Oversoul program that was downloaded into their DNA, their blueprint, and into the information that they connect with to receive and to retrieve information and to be guided to other information and to awaken. Okay, so you probably have some sort of experience like that. Like when I did the Egyptian activation, somebody commented about how I feel like I worked with Isis in another lifetime. Many people feel like they were Isis in another lifetime. And again, it's impossible for all of them to have been her, but it's not impossible for all of them to have been downloaded the information of her Oversoul, or to be connected to it in some way through the Galactic Akashic records. This is like things that we can access, okay? This is where it makes sense, because it's like, oh, it's like a freaking program. It's like, basically, you just downloaded that information into you, and now you have like those memories, you have those experiences, you have those soul lessons, you have that vibration, that frequency available to you. So you're going to attract things into your reality that show that help you to connect to that. So hopefully that kind of made sense to you guys, as it's 22:22 on the clock. And it's not too like, what? And I'm trying to explain it in a way without it being like, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. I think many of you will, because I'm sure many of you have had some sort of experience. Like I had it with St. Bridget, where all of a sudden, like constantly people were talking to me about her, and that her information kept coming to me, and I was guided to like Google certain things about her. And then I found out, like, wherever I go, I'm able to find 4-leaf clovers like very easily. And I was guided to this one thing about her, and I don't even know why or how I stumbled into it, but it was like everywhere that, you know, Bridget walked, clovers would grow. They didn't say 4-leaf clovers, but they said clovers would grow. And everywhere I go, everywhere I've lived for the past, you know, few years, I've noticed clovers grow. And the 4-leaf are always in there. It's not like a whole patch of them, but the clovers show up. And I laughed one day because my ex's mother came out when I was living at their house, and she was like, "Where did all these clovers come from?" And I was like, "Sorry." And she didn't know what I was talking about, but I did. And I think, again, it's like the Oversoul program of St. Bridget, or, you know, Bridget, however you want to call her, because some people call her goddess, some people call her saint, some people just call her Bridget. However you connect to her, again, would be like how her Oversoul is connected to you for you to retrieve information. And then, you know, talking about like connecting to these, you can retrieve information, and you can retrieve information about the past, you know, like who somebody was in another lifetime, where they've been, you know, maybe they've been in the Pleiades, maybe they've been in Lyra, they've been in Orion, they've been here, they've been there, wherever. You can, you know, see those things, feel those things, know those things, and you can read the Akashic records for other people if you are, you know, guided to do that, and, you know, just kind of connect with them intuitively and feel or know or see whatever they're trying to give to you about that person. and deliver those messages. Trust what you get and deliver it. It may not make sense in the moment, but it will make sense later. For some people, for most people, it will probably make sense in the moment, as long as you trust your intuition. You know, like if you go up, which we're going to do tonight through the activation, you'll see kind of how we go up there and how we get there, and you'll see what it looks like. You'll get familiar with it, and then you'll be able to look at either the big screen and see what's going on there, or you'll put your hand in and download that information to retrieve the information that way, and it probably just play in your mind's eye, or you'll just know what it is. And in the beginning, it may start off small and get bigger over time. So like in the beginning, you may not fully perceive everything that they give to you to download. You may only get like a symbol or an image or a name or whatever, and that's fine. But over time, you'll probably start to get more and more pieces of information, and you know, whatever you receive is for a reason. Now, with the future, sometimes you're going to receive information and you're going to be sure and think that like this is going to happen, this is for sure 100%, like this is what's going to play out for this person, because there's, like I talked about in the last video, like that there's versions of reality, or there's timelines that are available to us. Well, that's still the case with the Galactic Akashic records, is that there's timelines available to you that you can align with, that are possibilities of what might happen, but they're possibilities. So sometimes you'll see something that someone's aligned with 100% in that moment, and you know, it may be where they're supposed to go or what's supposed to happen, but then it doesn't. And it's not that you're wrong, it was just that there was a reason for it to not happen, or there was a reason for you to have to believe that that was the future for that person in that moment, to deter them from doing something else. So like, say, like for me, like I get information about you, and I think that you're gonna go through a certain situation with somebody, or you're gonna leave your job and you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that and blah 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 blah, and I tell you that, and that's something you don't want. You have the free will and the now knowledge and wisdom to know that that's the road you're headed on. You may decide to make some decisions and choices in your life that keep you from doing what it was you were aligned to do, okay? And on the flip side of that, even knowing things that are supposed to happen for you that you want to happen, you can still make decisions that deter you from that by, you know, coming out of alignment, or, you know, going against what you know is right for you to be doing, or just kind of not learning your lessons, or, you know, keeping yourself limited in some way. It's like you dictate what happens. So it's, you know, what I'm trying to say is that like you're probably not going to be wrong about what you see in these Akashic records, but there's going to be times where you're not 100% correct, but there was a reason for you to not be 100% correct at the end of it all. Like if you tell someone something and it doesn't come true and they do something completely different, don't beat yourself up over it. Know that what you told them may have actually led them to this new timeline or this new reality that's actually a better version for them to be in, or that they needed to go through to experience something specific, or a message or a lesson or whatever. So try not to hold on to things too much or get deterred too much if you feel like you were wrong. Know that timelines can merge together. So like things that you see for them to happen in the future, or things that you think will happen for them in the future, may happen, but it may not happen exactly as you thought it was going to, so, or exactly as it was shown to you, or exactly as, you know, you felt it to be. However you connect to it, it may change. So know that nothing's written in stone about our future. It's adaptable, it's changeable, it's shiftable, but it's always going to be like a creation of what's supposed to be created, you know, and it's constantly evolving and it's constantly growing and changing. So even though it's supposed to be created, it's like we don't know exactly what's supposed to be created yet. That's why when I do things about what's going to happen for people, I let them know that like it's a possibility, but it's not 100% guaranteed, and they very much dictate what's going to play. You know, like if you want to be a billionaire, but you do nothing and you don't get off your ass to make it happen, you ain't going to be a billionaire. If you want to, you know, do something specific without putting any effort into it, it's unlikely it's going to happen. So there may be a timeline available to them to do it, to create it, But if they put it off for too long, or they, you know, make decisions that take them too far away from it, then that's timeline's going to go further and further away. So just know that timelines shift, timelines merge, timelines evolve, timelines can be moving and, you know, adaptable. And just find the best way for you to go into the records for yourself, and, you know, see, feel, or hear exactly how you're going to do it, and just practice. Keep practicing until you feel more confident in doing it, and just trust. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. You know, and I wrote this down because I was like doing automatic writing to get this information. So I said how to access the Akashic Records, or the Galactic Akashic Records. And they said, close your eyes, set the intentions. So whatever the intention is, like I want to connect to the Galactic Akashic Records to read for so-and-so, or to see for myself, or to see my future, or to see my past, or whatever it is. And then imagine yourself ascending through the dimensions, through time and space, all the way up to the records. And then see them like a large computer, basically, and you Google by thinking the question, okay? So it's like, whether you're looking at that big TV screen, or that big, you know, thing that looks out into space, because it may be that too, which shifts into a vision of whatever it's going to be. Think of that as a big computer. Or if you go to the big round table with the pillar in the middle, think of that as a big computer. And by being a computer, you're going to Google, right? You're going to Google your question. So you're Googling by thinking what the question is. And then there's limitless, you know, options of what those questions could be. And there's limitless ways of, you know, receiving that information, like what they're going to show you, or what's going to pop up, or if it's going to be an image, or if it's going to be a whole like movie that plays out, or if it's just going to be a few words or a few symbols. You know, it's going to be whatever. So you can read for yourself or another person. You can find out what lessons your soul has. You can see your I am presences, or the oversoul programs that you've connected with through life. You can see who your guides are. You can ask for a download of all the information relevant, and that, you know, could be connected to your future or past. And just trust what you receive and practice as much as possible. And you can try different methods. You can do meditation, automatic writing. You can do a hands-on healing session for somebody. And while you're hands-on healing, you know, intend to take them up there, or to take yourself up there, and to retrieve the information through your hands being placed on that person's body. And you might see images, or you might feel things, or just know things, or hear things. Everybody's going to be different on how that works. And then you could do tarot cards and get messages that way. If you're a tarot card reader, or if you become a tarot card reader, you can use that to access messages from the records. You could use a pendulum. Basically, whatever tool or whichever method you use, just trust what you receive. And then you might connect with past lives, or coexisting lives in this moment, or future timelines, and that things that you can and do shift by just being consciously aware of it. But just trust that even if you know, get something that doesn't make sense now, or doesn't make sense later, it's like you can't be wrong. And you're not gonna be wrong. It's just that sometimes we receive or see things for a particular reason for ourselves or for that person, and we may not understand it in the moment, or we may never understand it later on, but there's always some other bigger thing outside of us that's working at this. For most of the time when I do these things, it makes sense. People definitely resonate with what I've told them. But when it comes to the future, there's things that just don't pan out, or things that just don't happen the way that it may have been aligned to happen for them before. So just don't ever let yourself get to a place of like, oh my God, I was wrong, or I can't do this, or something's bad with me, or, you know, the information I got was bad information. Try not to do that to yourself. Just try to trust what you get, and, you know what I just said. It's like, there's a reason. You know, maybe you saved somebody from something that would have been a, you know, timeline that they didn't actually want to create. Maybe you saw them and they were going to, you know, end up losing their job that maybe right now they don't like, but at the realization of knowing that they might lose it, they could rethink their whole position about it,
and then start creating reality where they actually enjoy the job. And if that becomes the case, then they might keep the job because now they enjoy it and they put effort into it and they keep working it. And then they, you know, get a shift in that place and they start making more money and having an advancement. So it's always going to be different, and it's always going to be, you know, a reason behind things. So try to look at it from an outside perspective too. Try not to be too invested into the things that you get for information or the things that you tell people, you know, intuitively what you're guided to tell them. Just allow things to come and go, and, you know, always offer that information too, of like, this is what I'm seeing for you now, and try to see what other things are available for them at that time. Like, if you're getting one set message over and over, share that with them. But there may be something intuitively that you're picking up that's like, but there's also the possibility that this could happen, you know, or there's also a possibility that it doesn't happen, and, you know, it's, and let them know that it's dependent on them and what they decide to do and don't do, okay? So that's basically my thing about the Akashic Records, for the galactic version of it. I find that, you know, just going up there and connecting with them is the best way to go about it. Of course, there may be somebody that can't connect for some reason, or there may be somebody that, you know, the first time you listen to it, you fall asleep, or the first time you listen to it, you only get bits and pieces of info, or you just get used to being there. Because the first time I went up there was just kind of like seeing it and being like, holy moly, this is amazing. So you may be more in awe of what you're seeing rather than, you know, retrieving a whole bunch. That's why I say practice and keep going back and doing it more. And that will help you to exercise that muscle of accessing and retrieving and delivering messages from the Akashic Records. Okay guys, so I'm going to do the activation, and I will probably do like a little quick video for the beginning of that, to have like a separate thing where there's a link and all of that. I'm going to post this right now, and then I'm going to record the activation, and there'll be a link in the description box of that little video that I make for you that's connected to the activation. So I just need to take a little bit of a break. I'm really tired and feeling a little nauseous. We did 2 hours of live, and now I just did 37 minutes of this. So I'm trying to pace myself and not kill myself. I might lay down for a little bit and then do the activation, but it will be up. Okay guys, in Munay, Namaste.